Alright, so now we are going to create role entity, and we are going to create role table in database. The reason why I'm doing this is a role can have many users, and similarly a user can have many roles. So in user, we can see how we will be having some many to many relation. Similarly in role we will having many to many relation. So we will it will create a different separate table and keep both the foreign keys and to map two tables. So that's why I'm just going to create a role entity and role controller and role service. Okay, so let's do it. So I'll create one folder. Let's create a folder entity. In entity we are going to create a file role.entity.ts. Now what we are going to do, we are going to create one class role. And how we can make a class entity? So for that we will have to annotate with the entity in type ORM, and if we leave it as it is, then table name will be in this way. So it will start in from caps, and it will be like this way only. And but I want it to be in small case and plural. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep it roles. Okay, now I will extend it with base entity. Why I'm doing this? The reason behind that is it has ID created at and updated at, so I don't need to write all these three column names. Now in role will simply have few things, I mean just two things I guess. Name, this will be a string, and what else? Users, a list of user, which is actually a user entity. So name, to make it as a column, we'll have to write column annotation, and this must be unique. We cannot have two role with same name, so not name, it should be unique. And users, in users, I mean role will have a property users. Similarly, if I go in user, it will have a property roles, and that will be of type role, and it will be an array. Now in user, one user can have many roles, and one role can have many users. It means it has many to many relation, so we'll have to mention it. It's not the direct property, instead it is a many to many relation. So what are the properties we need to define in many to many relation is, the first thing is method type. We need to tell what is the type of this entity, so it is a role. And the second, what is the field name that will refer to this entity in this type, so it will be role dot users, which we created in role entity. Similarly, I'm going to do, let me save it first. In roles, I'm going to do it many to many. The type of this entity is user, so we'll create a function, and how this entity is represented in this entity, I mean this type. So it is user dot roles. Now when we are creating many to many relation, it creates a separate table. So now we'll have to decide which one is the front facing. So usually when I will query user, then I want to query roles. So what I'm gonna do here, I will have to write an annotation for join table, and this will create a table. So there are few properties that we need to define in join table. The first one is name, means the name of table. So generally we keep it in this way, user roles. And now we need to tell what is the how this entity is identified. So here we'll first have to define join column, how this will join to this what column will join to this user. So here I'm gonna add its property as, let me import join column, already imported. Okay, it's not add rate, it's just join column. And you can also use columns if you want to pass an array. And here what we can do, we can pass name, and the column name will be user ID, and how it will be referenced here in this entity. So the referenced column name is ID. So here in this user will have an ID property that will come from base entity, and so it will refer to that ID, and it will create a user ID column in user roles for the same user ID. Okay, similarly I will do for the reverse side. So inverse join column, and this will actually this will indicate, or you can say this will be the part of role entity. So here what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep it role ID, and I'll just use reference column name, also ID, since we'll be having an ID property in role as well. Alright, I think that's all we need to define right now. Next, what we can do is we can create role controller, role service, and create an API, and CRUD operation API endpoints, and then we can insert some roles, the roles which we have already defined here in enum, this roles enum.